Simply Real podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have a very special guest with us today. She's in the space of being an artist, a songwriter, a dancer, really just an all-around creative person. I want to welcome to the Simply Real podcast, Naweh. Naweh, thank you so much. Good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me here. I am doing amazing, blessed, and highly favored.
Of
How are you?
course. Thank
How
you
are
so
you?
much for joining. Yeah, I'm doing great. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. The sun is shining and we are here talking to each other. So nothing could be better than that. But
Yes.
I'm so glad that you've tapped in with me here on the Simply Real podcast. I just love your vibe and love everything you're doing. So tell us a little bit about Naweh, who you are as an artist, a singer, a songwriter, and the creative space that you're in.
Thank you. Thank you. So I, of course, have been singing since I was a child. I write my own music. I also have a wonderful producer, a group of producers that I've worked with, one mainly, Jamari, and also Billy. I have always been involved in the arts since I was a kid. And so I love to just talk about real life issues, talk about real experiences. Some of the experiences are my own, some are experiences of others, but I feel it's important to be authentic in what you present.
Yeah, and that authenticity definitely comes through and shines through you because you truly are like one of those gems of people who has that vibe of doing that. Tell us, how did you begin getting into songwriting? And has this always been something that you've wanted to do, or is this a passion, or did you just kind of fall into it?
Oh my gosh, I've always wanted to do it. I wrote my first song when I was 12. Excuse me.
Wow.
Yes. And from then on, I've gotten vocal lessons. Anything arts related I could do. Even when I was in college, I would perform at the different shows. I was always more shy, but people knew me more so because I would sing. That's really what got me out of my shell a lot of the times.
Oh, that's beautiful. When you were 12, you wrote your first song. Wow. What was it about?
It was it was so hilarious. I don't like okay, so uh it was about a boy, and I think no boy in particular. And it went like, baby boy, I got a crush on you. It sounds like a 12-year-old.
Oh, no, but I mean, that's the space that we're in when we're that age, right? We have all these crushes. So you were talking about real life experiences, which I love. So,
As well.
well, I'm sure you've transitioned from the 12-year-old girl to now. So tell us about what your lyrics are based upon and where do you get your inspiration from for your music?
Absolutely. I really base it upon just either experiences that I've had as a woman or experiences that maybe my friends have had. Sometimes it's a mix of different things that I've heard people talk about. I also, as I said, I went to college, and so I studied social work. And through that, I sat with a lot of different women. You actually used to work with pregnant women. And so there are just different things that I saw, different things that I got to talk to people about. And a lot of times when I write my songs or create my videos, it's coming from that space.
Wow, that's beautiful. And the inspiration that we get from listening to other people's experiences is so valuable and so powerful. And that comes through your music. And that's just a wonderful, wonderful experience to really witness. So I definitely commend you for that. So
Thank
tell us
you.
about what are some of the projects that you're working on and what kind of spaces are you in? Like, what are you up to these days?
Yeah, so I am working on a new song right now. I haven't, it has been recorded, but we're still trying to, plan the video, plan everything around it. And, I'm coming from a space of not, I think there are a lot of songs that are focusing right now on heartbreak. So I'm like, you know what, let's look at it from a different perspective. Look at it, in terms of searching for love.
Ah, love it.
So that's kind of the space that I'm going into. Also, I am taking my acting classes. I want to continue to move forward in that and my dancing, all of that. I feel like I want to be a complete and all around artist.
Yeah, you are like the complete package. You're a singer, songwriter, dancer. You definitely are like a full-blown artist with the full package. I'm sure you have like so many offers and things happening. That's amazing. I love what you said about focusing not on the heartbreak, but finding the love. How are you finding inspiration to put that together? Because nowadays it's all about the heartbreaks, and you always hear stories of, oh, I don't have a boyfriend for Valentine's Day, I don't have a girlfriend for Valentine's Day, or it's always that space of heartbreak. So how are you getting your inspiration to do this phenomenal, valuable, powerful statement of finding love?
So ooh, sorry, I had a little bit of feedback. Uh, so I actually heard this song recently. I don't know if you know who Tiwa Savage is,
Yeah.
and she has that song with Brandy.
Oh,
Somebody,
yes, yes. Oh, I haven't heard about Brandy in so long.
yes. Oh my gosh. And so Brandy, I mean, sounds amazing on the song. And I think it was just a powerful song that a lot of women needed, right? Because the song just says, somebody's son is going to love me one day.
Right.
And so I feel like that's really needed because there is a space for heartbreak songs, but there's a space for people saying, okay, I've moved past that. Let's go on to the next stage of my life.
Right, right. And that's giving people the opportunity to explore that. I always look at music. I don't sing. I can't sing for my life. I love to write, but I love music. And I always look at music as the opportunity to really find the avenues for healing and really experience all the different things that you're going through, because you're able to connect with people. When you listen to a song like you're talking about finding love, so many people can connect with that because that's what they're in that space of. So, what are your thoughts about how music is truly impacting and healing the world?
Absolutely. I think I'm a believer that there's power in your speech and in your words, right? There is this book, and I cannot remember his name, but this man wrote this book a few years ago, and it was talking about water. And our body is made up of a large percentage of water. So
Mhm.
when you speak over us, it actually does change something within your body. He did it for some time where he would speak words over some frozen water. And when he would look at it under a microscope, he would see that when he spoke positive words over it, uh, the crystals would be beautiful and pretty.
Oh, yeah.
But when he spoke horrible words over it, when he would look at the crystals were not fully formed. They were not beautiful as
Yeah.
the ones that he spoke positivity over. And so what we speak over ourselves, the words that we use in our music, really, it really does matter. It's amazing how God created us that way. It's amazing. So I believe words have power.
Oh, you're so right. I love that you said that. And I resonate so much with that. I truly believe in the power of our words, like you're saying. And, when you shine through that with songs and your writing and being in the space that you're in, it's so important because remember, people are going to listen to your music. They're going to vibe off of you. So what you put out into the universe is so important. And I love the fact that you are that positive source of energy because that's exactly what we need in the world today.
Thank you. Thank you. I try.
I'm sure it's been, a journey. What are some challenges that you find you're meeting along the way and as being a singer and songwriter? Because there's so many different spaces to be in. There's so many people to work with, and I'm sure you're coming up with so many challenges in your own aspects. What are some of those challenges?
I love that you asked that question. I really love that question.
I see. This is why I like to be natural and organic. It just kind of comes to me as I'm speaking to you.
I love it. I think, when you hear a lot of artists talk about the journey and how they really developed who they were and really found who they were in the journey, and it wasn't the end goal. Sometimes it gets challenging because you're just like, oh my gosh, I have to balance so many different things. You have to really go out there and find and create your own opportunities. And it does get tiring sometimes. It really does, right? But when you remember that it's bigger than you and that there are people who are watching your journey who are going to be inspired to then go after what their dreams are, all that goes away because it's what it is that God is going to do through you. It's not about you. And when I remember that, it gets a little easier.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. What God's gonna do through you, and it's not always about you. You're so right. And I think it's so important that we recognize, which it seems like you do, that we each go through our unique challenges and adversities. And it's really about channeling that and using it towards the greater good. And I love your energy about that. You spoke about finding yourself throughout this journey of music. What have you discovered or explored about yourself as you were on this beautiful journey?
Being a woman, sometimes when we're like, I would say when I was like 19 in college, I was more, I was a little more like naive, I would say, and sometimes wouldn't speak up as much. Now, I was never a pushover, but sometimes in certain spaces, I just didn't know how to speak up. For example, when I would go to shows, sometimes I needed a sound check, and it was just like, "Oh, can I get a sound check?" Like very meek. And I was blessed to have my brother who would go around with me, and he would be like, "Oh, she needs a sound check, this and that." Like, my brother would be very calm and relaxed, but he would be direct.
Right.
So I learned a lot from him from doing that. And so when people see me in those spaces and they just think I'm so confident, I'm like, well, I had my brother who showed me how to do it. And so
Right.
that's something I learned throughout my journey, how to just speak up. It doesn't have to be rude. It doesn't have to be insulting, but you
Right.
just
Right. No, you just got to ask for what you want sometimes. And I think sometimes as individuals who are doing things and putting out ourselves into the world to want something in return, we often think that we're sometimes scared to ask for what we want because we don't want to be rejected. I'm sure, like as an artist, you've gotten a lot of no's, which I don't see how because you're amazing, but I know that's just part of the journey. How do you handle those no's for everybody listening? Because I'm sure we have so many people who are on this journey. So how do you handle that? And how does it either affect your self-confidence? Does it build you up? Does it bring you down? Tell us a little bit about that.
I think when I was in high school, more so it would affect me because you're so young and you're just like, am I not good enough, this and that. But I realized that this really is just a part of the journey. You have to have thick skin. You're going to be one person's cup of tea and you're not going to be the other person's cup of tea, and
So
it
true.
just is what it is. And when I hear a lot of times when I have those no's, I go back and I listen to some of the experiences of the greats. Like Michael Jordan did not make his high school basketball team. Michael Jordan.
Yes, it's so funny that you said that. I was just having this conversation the other day about celebrities that have like failed over and over and over again, but they just kept getting back up, and people don't realize that because you always see a celebrity like, oh, they made it big, so they didn't have any issues getting there, but that's not the case. They're just as human as you and I.
At all. A lot of celebrities say when they get on TV, they'll say, "Oh, they always say I was an overnight success," but we make a joke and we say it took 10 years to be this overnight success.
Right. Right, exactly.
So it's
So it's
important.
Yeah, no, it's important to recognize that space, and I love that you're recognizing that and that you're taking that with grace. It seems like you're truly embracing the journey for what it is and just every aspect of it, because I'm sure as an artist and singer and songwriter and doing all the things that you do, there's so much that comes along with it. I'm sure there's a lot of pressure. I'm sure there's a lot of people pushing you into one direction while you may want to go into another direction. Now, I know, like, being an artist, sometimes you are forced to do things and maybe change who you are in that journey. Is that something that you've been experiencing? I'm just curious to know, as an artist, for anybody listening, this is just such an interesting topic for me.
Yes, I have experienced that. I really have. And I think it's good to have people around you where you understand, is this person trying to mold me into something that I'm not?
Right,
Or are they trying to help me grow more into who I really am?
right,
So I've had to learn the difference between this person doesn't really understand me. They may not even have bad intentions. They just don't understand me as an artist or who I am. This person gets me and they want to push me. So you have to really decipher between the two, because you don't want to become an artist that doesn't listen to other people as well. Right. And so I've experienced that when it comes to my music, when it comes to what I want to talk about, even sometimes what I want to wear, right? There are some women which I don't knock it where they might be a little more revealing. I'm okay with, being a little sexy. I am.
Right.
But I have a balance of doing it. I go more for the Kelly Rowland wavelength of it, Sierra Kelly Rowland. And I'm okay with that. Let other women take up the spaces that are meant for them, and I'll take up the
Right.
space for me.
I love that. And that's so important that you know what space you belong in and where you fit in. And I think that sometimes even as individuals, not even as artists, that is such a hard thing to come by because we're so, always looking to explore ourselves and find where we belong on the path that we're on. And there's so many influences out there that can deter us from that. I think social media is definitely one of those influences. What are your thoughts about social media and music and how it relates to artists and even just the audience that you tap into as an artist?
I honestly, I love social media. I think that it has created an avenue that opens the door for many different creatives that I think before it just wasn't there. You had gatekeepers, you had people saying, yes, no, this and that. And it's still there, but I love it. It's just about knowing how to use it and how to use it effectively and
Right,
efficiently. I think
right.
that's the key to it. So I love social media. I think it helped me connect to people I wouldn't have even connected with you.
So true. I'm a big fan of social media too. And like you said, I just think it's important to understand how to use it and how to use it effectively and, know your audience as you were, so eloquently talking about. So yes, that's so important. So in terms of like collaborations, who would you love to collaborate with as an artist?
Like going big, big.
Oh, let's dream big, girl. We're going big. I want to hear your dreams. Yeah, let's spill it all.
A couple of people. I love Beyonce, of course. Who doesn't? Love Beyonce. I would love to work with J. Cole. I love Summer Walker, SZA, Jasmine Sullivan. I mean, the list could go on and
Oh
on.
God, you got a good list going there.
I would love that. And then acting wise, my hope and goal is I would love to be in, and I'm speaking into existence, I will be in movies.
Love it. Speak it into existence. Love it. Yes, manifest those goals.
Yes.
And that was actually gonna be one of my other questions is like, what are some things that you do to keep yourself motivated and to stay on that path of success?
Thankfully, I'm so blessed to have a best friend who's also in music.
Oh.
And so she's on this journey with me. And oftentimes when one of us is down, the other one's like, no, you know what I mean? You can do it, this and that. So I don't know what I would do without having a friend that's actually in this journey with me. That's one thing. I would say the second thing I do is I pray. I listen to sermons. I love Sarah Jakes Roberts, TD Jakes' daughter. She's amazing. I also listen to music, I listen to music. I listen to songs that inspire me because a lot of the people that are at where I want to be, they were at where I am now.
Right.
So I listen to their music to inspire me.
Love that. Yeah, inspiration comes from so many different places. And once you're able to tap into that to get that energy, anything is truly possible.
Mm-hmm.
That's so great. So what do we have in store for you? What are your next upcoming projects? What should we be looking out for? And we're definitely gonna, once you give me, if you have any singles, well, actually, before you leave here, you're gonna have to sing a couple tunes for us.
No problem.
But tell us a little bit about what some of your upcoming projects are. What are you working on?
I am working on right now like two separate songs right now, and I'm just getting everything together. I'm making sure that I have all my T's crossed and my I's dotted. I want to make sure that I really create a project that people can connect with and realize that I really spent my time and energy in. So I'm excited for you guys to hear that. I'm hoping summertime.
Well, that's not so far away, so we're gonna keep on the lookout for that.
Yes, yes. And as far as acting wise, I am hoping within the next few months to start auditioning. And oh, I don't know what's going on with my voice. Let me drink some water. Today my voice is getting a
Yeah,
little
stay hydrated. I know it's one of those days, I woke up this morning in New York here, it feels like it's cold out. Yesterday was so cold. And when you have the heat running in the house, it gets your throat so dry. So it's so
yeah,
important to stay hydrated. And especially for you as a singer, you need to stay hydrated.
agreed. So yeah, those are the few projects that I'm working on right now, and I'm really excited for people to see it.
That's wonderful. Well, we can't wait to see what you're doing, and we're definitely gonna have you sing a couple tunes before you hop off of here. But I definitely want to give you the opportunity, if there's any artists, upcoming artists who are tuning into this interview, what's your advice for people who are trying to get into this field? Actors, dancers, singers, songwriters, any creatives. What can you say to help them break into this field or to help them stay motivated? Because sometimes, like we talked about with rejection and being on that path, it can sometimes scare us off. So what are some words of wisdom that you can spread for everybody listening in?
I would say create your own opportunities. So if someone won't give you a show or you can't break into the talk show industry, create your YouTube. That's how Issa Rae actually got into creating Insecure. She started on YouTube. So you have to be okay with creating your own opportunities. And really, also, the second thing I would say is really put money into marketing. So
Mhm.
sometimes people will focus on just creating the product, but if you can budget the marketing so that people can actually see your product,
Right.
those are two things you have to focus on. And just
And what
know
kind
that
of marketing? Just really quick, what kind of marketing do you recommend that people start breaking into or looking into? What has worked for you?
what's worked for me is just marketing on social media as far as YouTube. So when you have a video, making sure you have a budget to actually run the ads.
Mhm.
Uh, Marketing in terms of when you promoting on different platforms. So
Right.
it's just have a marketing plan. Sometimes people
Right.
just put out the product and they're just okay, people will find it.
Right. No, that's so such valuable information because you're so right. Like I'm sure being in the space of an artist, you just think about the creation part of it, and then it's like, now what? What do we do now? So that's really helpful. That's a really big guidance for people listening in.
Absolutely. So those will be the main things just to focus on that. And when you do feel down and low, go and research the journeys of the greats, the Beyoncés, Michael Jacksons, Michael Jordans, Kobe, uh,
Right.
just so many different people because their journey was not just this straight path. I promise you.
I know. I'm so glad that you're highlighting that because it's so important for people to recognize that as human beings, celebrities feel the same thing. They go through some of the same issues that we do and the same challenges. I think
Yeah,
we forget sometimes that they're human, just like us.
absolutely. Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, so it's really important that you've highlighted that. So also one of my last questions before I make you sing for us is I was in a clubhouse room the other day and we were talking about people were playing their music and getting some feedback and things like that. And one of the things that was brought up was about mental health and burnout, especially being in the creative space that you're in. Have you experienced that, or what are some of your thoughts about that?
Yes, being having my background be social work too, I know what it looks like. I know what signs to look out for. And burnout is real. I think seeing this meme one time where it says you have to know when it's not necessarily quitting, but just taking a break. It's okay on your journey to say, okay, for this next week, it's been a really rough week. Let me just rest. I'm not going to do anything music related or arts related. I'm just going to just rest. I might listen to some music. I might go get some inspiration, but I'm going to take a break until I have the energy to come back. The point is to actually come back. That's the key.
Right.
So I think it's very important to take that time to really focus on your health, your mental health, and your self care.
Right. Now, you mentioned as a social worker that you recognize some of the signs. What are some of the signs that you can tell us today that people should look out for?
I would say if you lose interest in things that you always love, that's a sign that something might be going on with you. If you are secluding yourself even more. So some people are introverts. I'm an introvert, but and I said this one time, I know the difference between not, when I'm having a moment where I'm not feeling too good and I'm secluding myself because I don't want to be around people, or when I'm just like, okay, I just need time to recharge. You
Right.
have to really pay attention to yourself. If you're not really eating, if you're also not taking care of your body, your hygiene as well. Those are some signs I would
Right.
say.
No, that's great. That's so powerful and so helpful. Thank you so much for that. It's so important to highlight because we don't recognize that mental health cuts through everybody, and no matter what field or whatever it is that you're doing as an artist, as an entrepreneur, whatever space that you're in, mental health is real and it affects many people. So thank you for providing that information.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, and how are you balancing all this, girl? I'm listening to all these things as a social worker, as a dancer, as an actor, singer, songwriter. How are you keeping up with all this?
I I have to really manage my time. I set reminders on my phone. So literally it's like, oh, 5 o'clock, you have to practice your vocal warm-ups. 6 o'clock, you have to do this. And I have my 9 to 5.
Ah, nice.
After I get off my 9 to 5, that's when it's my second job. And I remember years ago, like a few years ago, being like, oh my gosh, there's so much I have to do and da 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 da. And my mentor said to me, she was like, Naweh, if you don't do it, who's gonna do it? She kind of had a moment where she was
So
like,
true.
if you don't do it, who's gonna do it? So all this complaining, she didn't say this part, but all this complaining that you're doing, you have no other choice. This is what you want to do.
Right.
Find a way to do it.
Right. Just make it happen. Love that. Love the motivation. Your name is so gorgeous. What does it mean?
I love this question. Okay. My name means it is finished. So I'm Liberian. I was born and raised here, but my parents, my culture, ethnicity is Liberian.
Oh.
And I am the youngest child in my family. So that's why it means it is finished.
Oh my God, that is so awesome. I love that. Gorgeous name, and you are truly making an impact. Oh my God, I'm just loving this interview. I'm loving your vibe and your energy, and I just can't wait to see everything that you're gonna put out into the universe because I know it's gonna be phenomenal.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I really do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, as you promised, you have to sing us a few bars. Don't give away too much because I want people to make sure they connect with you, but we want to hear something.
Let me see. Let me figure out what I want to sing. Maybe I'll sing my song "Not There Yet," just a little bit of it. You never really cared for me, didn't want to get to know me. With your stack of lies and a big bright smile, but the soul of death inside, selfishness and deception, crazy manipulation. Your plan was to conquer up my heart and stroke your ego. That's a little bit of it.
Oh my God, yay! So
Yeah.
beautiful. So I can feel your passion across this computer. Amazing. Amazing. Naweh, thank you so much for such a phenomenal interview. Thank you for being you, and we cannot wait to see what you have to come out with. Tell everybody how they can connect with you, where they can find you, where they can find your music. Let them know how they can get in touch with Naweh.
Thank you. You can find me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram and TikTok. It is Naweh Music, N as in Nancy, AWEHMUSIC. Goodness, I'm stumbling on my words.
It's early, girl. I know.
I know. I'm like, wait, I can't think. Naweh Music, and yeah, across the platform, that is my across different platforms. That's what you will find, Naweh Music. And if you follow me on there, you'll be connected to my music.
Nice. Well, everybody is definitely going to go connect with Naweh because she's amazing. And I'm just loving the vibe. Thank you so much once again. Any lasting thoughts for everybody out there who's listening?
Just continue to go after your dreams and your goals. And I remember Oprah saying one time, if you
I love
allow it,
Oprah.
oh my gosh, right? Superwoman.
Yeah.
She said, if you allow it, other people will drown the voice of God. And so you have to not allow other people to drown the voice of God that you're hearing. That's what I
Oh,
really
that's
would.
beautiful. I love that. And that is definitely the best way to end. Thank you so much for joining us today, Naweh. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the Simply Real podcast. As always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and keep it locked in always to the Simply Real podcast, your one-stop shop for motivation, for so much inspiration, for guest speakers, music talk, and so much more. And a special thank you to our special guest today, Naweh. Thank you so much, Naweh, for joining us on the Simply Real podcast.
You're amazing. Thank you so much.
Sure.